This is a special message I want to share with the children of Zimbabwe from the Apostle. Our nation and new president, Chamisa, have been betrayed and robbed. Let me start by referring to Matthew's Gospel, the only Gospel to reveal that Judas Iscariot came to regret betraying Jesus to the chief priests and elders. Luke also takes note of Judas' eventual suicide in his second volume, Acts chapter 1, verses 16 to 20. Once Judas understood that Jesus had been condemned to death, he was devastated. It is not known what Judas expected to happen. For whatever reason, he either did not expect that Jesus would be killed, or he finally scrapes up enough of a conscience to see his error. In quotes, the old Zimbabwean government didn't know what conscience is, apparently. Judas goes on to say, "I have sinned, for I have betrayed an innocent man." The scribes and the priests retorted, "What do we care? That's your problem." This is what the previous insensitive Zimbabwean government said when they betrayed our nation and the new and rightfully elected president, saying, "What do we care? That's your problem." The children of Zimbabwe just came out of the elections to choose the rightful man or woman to be the next president of the country. The periods of election preparation and the actual voting were peaceful, thank God. Unfortunately, the results for the voting were not only a travesty of justice, but appeared as if the efforts and difficulties encountered at the polls of voting were a waste of people's precious time. Let me share with you a little story to explain the point. If you can imagine a 3-year-old child given candy by Father Christmas and a cruel, self-centered, egotistical, nonchalant huge man came and snatched all the candy the child was given, the child tried to scream but couldn't do anything about it. If this is still abstract, let me make it even more clearer. We mean that Chamisa with the triple C and the rest of the Zimbabwean nation clearly won the elections which they were robbed of in open daylight by the power-hungry, democracy-deprived and infamous ZANU-PF and its spineless henchmen. The Zimbabwean nation has been betrayed and robbed. Talking about betrayal, betrayal is one of the most devastating losses a person can experience. To be betrayed, the person must first experience trust in the betrayer. It is fairly impossible for you to be betrayed if you did not trust the individual in the first place, or at least had an expectation of trust. Therefore, the definition of betrayal involves the act of someone violating your trust in them. There was great joy and excitement when the current government took over from the most corrupt, independent Zimbabwe ever knew. We all put our trust in the new government only to be disillusioned worse. It was the worst betrayal, which has marked and marred the reputation of this inhospitable, corrupt, and licentious regime. The current government has been described with all the negative adjectives one can think of, because it is denying even the democracy we fought for. There is a variety of forms of betrayal. For instance, a child is betrayed when they are abused by parents who are supposed to love, support, and protect the child. A spouse is betrayed when their partner has an affair. A friend is betrayed when a friend gossips about personally shared information. Now, like parents, our government under the nonchalant president betrayed the Zimbabwean nation. But all the wicked actions were seen and recorded by caring, impartial, and selfless observers. It was a huge embarrassment when revealed to the public. For those who lack understanding, simply what we're saying is we all knew who had already been anointed to take over the reins even before the elections, which were carried out to fulfill the divine decree and maintain the expected democratic and legitimate proceedings. You ask, what should the anointed young president do? Absolutely nothing at this stage. This is not a physical battle, but a spiritual now. We shift our focus to God, the Creator and controller of kings and rulers. What will He do with the wicked? God will fight our battle, and we will succeed in the end. Jehovah Jireh has heard the cries of His children, the Zimbabwean people. Psalms chapter 34 verse 21 says, I quote, "Evil shall slay the wicked, and those who hate the righteous will be condemned." Close quote. God makes it clear in this verse what the end of the wicked will be. Their punishment is inescapable. Those who hate the righteous will be condemned. This is a basic characteristic of the nature of God. He must punish evil. In His self-revelation to Moses in Exodus chapter 34 verses 6 to 7, God proclaimed the fundamental qualities of His nature. I quote, "Compassionate, gracious, slow to anger, abounding in loving kindness, yet who will by no means leave the guilty unpunished." God reveals here that the punishment of evil is part of His innate nature. We need not wonder if it will be done, or if the wicked will not suffer for their wrongs. As surely as God and this universe exists, the wicked will be judged. Nothing is more certain in the universe. The God of justice will punish evil. Presidents may posture and say after a terror attack, "These perpetrators will be found and brought to justice." But the truth is, they may or may not be able to find and punish the evildoers. But no one can hide from our God. He sees every hiding place, and He will bring the guilt of every soul to punishment. More pertinent to us is that He will do this not only for the terrorists or those committing what we consider to be great atrocities, but for the sins of each one of us. How shall they escape this certain judgment of God, which they rightly deserve? The thought of facing His certain judgment should be terrifying to them, and it should cause them to fly for refuge to the Messiah to correct their errors, who graciously provided to bear the punishment for our sins. The wicked will surely be punished. I repeat, The wicked will surely be punished. Please do not dare or tempt God. This is by a strong proponent of human rights and democracy.